Hello, welcome to the series of video lectures on object-oriented programming with C++. We are discussing classes and functions. In last video lectures, we have discussed various categories of functions like function accepting nothing, returning nothing, function accepting arguments, returning nothing, function accepting arguments, returning a value, function accepting nothing, returning a value. In last video lecture, we have discussed function accepting objects as arguments and returning nothing, with another category, that is function accepting objects as arguments and returning a value. In today's video lecture, we are going to discuss the category function accepting objects as argument and returning an object. In last video lecture, we have also discussed that the object is very much similar to the variable of the primitive type. Means if a variable is of the type primitive, then the object will be of the type user defined data type, that is class, and as the object is a variable, we can pass it as an argument to the function. Now, if we can pass or accept any object as an argument, we can also return any object as a return value, because an object is again a variable, and hence very similar to as we can return variables, we can return the objects, and hence the category accepting objects as argument and returning an object, we will discuss that. To understand this category, we will be having an example of the EMP class. We will be having members like EMPNO, ename, age and bcell with required member functions getEMP to get the information of EMP, then putEMP to print the information of EMP, and a member function compareBcell, which will compare the basic salary of two employees and will return the object having higher salary. So we will return a value that will be of the type EMP, and that will be the EMP object which will be returned. The name of function will be compareBcell, and this will accept two EMP objects which are to be compared. So this will be the structure of the class, and now we have to define the class. So let us define this class. Starting with the class declaration, we will define the class EMP with the members, private members as int EMPNO, char ename, assuming that each name will be of 20 characters, then age integer, and then float of bcell. So these will be the private members. Defining the member function in public visibility mode, we will open a public section. We will define these two functions, that is void getEMP. Now here in this example also we are going to define the function inside the class. We have already discussed that we can define the member function inside the class, or we can define the member function outside the class, but that to be using scope resolution operator. Here in this example, we are going to define these member function inside the class. Now getEMP will just input the EMP information, so we will display enter EMP info, and the user will enter the EMP info, and we will store them into EMPNO, ename, age and bcell. So this is how the information of EMP will be in. Now we will display the information of the EMP using another function, that is putEMP. This will simply display the information of EMP in the form of EMPNO, ename, then age and bcell. We have to define function compareBcell with the category as accepting objects as argument and returning an object. Now here we will pass two EMP objects whose salary is to be compared, and this function will compare the salary of these two employees and then will return the EMP with higher salary, and hence the return type will be of the type same, that is EMP. So let us define that. Now here in this case the return type will be EMP. Function name is compareBcell, and we will accept two EMP objects, let's say EMP E1 and EMP E2. The first EMP object will be accepted in E1 and the second EMP object will be accepted into E2, and that will be passed from the name at the time of invocation. Now the salary, basic salary of first EMP object can be obtained using E1.bcell, and the second using e2.b cell, we will compare that if e1.b cell is greater than e2.b cell, means in this case e1 object has the higher salary as compared to the second. So we will return e1, and that is the category returning an object. So e1 is the object and we are returning this object, and hence the return type will be the EMP, as this is going to return e1 and e1 is of the type EMP. But if this is not so, the basic salary of E2 will be higher, and hence we will return E2, and as we are returning E2 which is of the type EMP, hence the return type will be EMP as we have already discussed, and now this class will be terminated. So this is the simple function which belongs to this category, that is function accepting objects as argument. These are the objects as argument, and returning an object. This function is returning either E1 or E2, which is actually the object of EMP class, and hence the return type will be EMP. So now we have to use this class in main. Let us define the main function, void main. First of all, we will have to create two EMP objects which are to be compared, so E1 and E2, but we will need another object E3. Why? Because when this function will compare the basic salaries of E1 and E2, it will return the object with higher salary, means it will either return E1 or E2. That returned E1 and E2 with higher salary will be accepted in E3. Hence, we have defined the E3 also. Let's say E1 is created over here, E2 is created over here. So this will be the object E2. Now, first task is to populate these E1 and E2. So we will invoke the getEMP function with reference to E1. So E1.getEMP. You will be inside here. User will enter the information of EMP, ename, age and basic salary, and this will represent the information of E1. So this will be populated as, let's say the salary is 25,000. In the similar fashion, we have to populate E2 also. So we will invoke the same function getEMP with reference to object E2. This getEMP function will be invoked with reference to E2, and hence EMP, ename, age and basic salary will be readily available for the E2. Hence these values will be initialized as, now we have to compare the basic salaries of these two employees, and we are having the function compare bcell. We should invoke that now. So as it is a member function, we will invoke this with the reference of either E1 or E2. The name of function is compare bcell, and we will pass E1 and E2 which are to be compared, and this function will return either E1 or E2, whichever object having higher salary, and will be accepted in the object E3. Now E3 will contain the information of either E1 or E2 having higher salary. So now we have to print the EMP with higher salary. So we will print, or we will call the put EMP function for the object E3, which will display the information of EMP with higher salary. So compare bcell function will be invoked. We will be here inside this member function. This E1 will be passed from here and E2 will be passed from here. That will be accepted in E1 and E2 over here. So let's say we are having the object E1 over here. So E1 passed from that function will be accepted in this E1 in this scope. So the information will be stored over here, and the E2 passed will be accepted in E2 over here. Let's say this is the object E2, and hence the values 2, X, Y, Z, 21 and 30,000 will be stored over here. Now, the information of both these employees E1 and E2 are accepted in the object E1 and E2 in this scope. We will compare the salaries, like E1.basic salary is greater than E2.basic salary. This is 25,000 greater than 30,000. This condition will be failed, and you will be inside the else block, and this will return E2. Means this whole object E2 will be returned over here, and this E2 will be assigned to E3, and that's why we have defined this E3. So E3 will contain now E2. Why? Because in between E1 and E2, after comparison of salary, the salary of E2 is higher. This function has returned E2, which will be assigned to E3, and to display the EMP information with higher salary, as it is now stored in E3, will call the function put emp with reference to E3, which will display the information of employee with higher salary. Now, if we try to modify this function and if we invoke the same function with reference to E2, I can call it as E2.compare B cell, and same E1 and E2 can be passed. That will be accepted in E3, and again E3.put EMP will display the information of EMP with higher salary. Output will remain the same. What is changed now? We have passed E1 and E2 in both the callings, but the invoking object is changed. By changing the invoking object, no change is going to be here because the same E1 and E2 are passed and accepted in E1 and E2. If we alter the sequence of objects passed, then again there will be no change. If I write E3 is equal to E1 dot compare B cell, and if I pass E2 comma E1, there will be no change. Again the output will be same. Now we are passing E2, which is accepted in E1, means E2 will be accepted in E1. So here it will be 2, then XYZ, this will be 21 and this will be 30,000. This E1 passed will be accepted in E2, means E2 will contain now E1. So this will be changed as 1, A, B, C, D, 20 and 25,000. E1.B cell is representing 30,000 is greater than 25,000. It will return E1, and this E1 actually is storing the value of E2. So we will return E1, and that E1 will be stored in E3, and hence E3 will contain E2, and we will display the information of EMP by invoking E3.putEMP. Now, if I maintain this sequence as E2 and E1, but if I change the invoking object, again there will be no change, like E2 dot compare B cell, and if I pass E1 comma E2, again this will be accepted in E3, and E3 dot put EMP will display the information of employee with higher salary. Get CH, and this program will be closed. So this is all about the function category. Function accepting objects as argument and returning an object. Please do like, share and comment. Subscribe my video channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.